gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition. They're always exciting, more and more exciting, of the Warren Hayes Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the man whose name is in the title of this show, Warren Hayes. I welcome you to this program, this wonderful internet broadcast brought to you by Mr. Warren Hayes. And it is my Summerslam prediction show. You know what's great about prediction shows? First and foremost, wrestling predictions are fun. This is the main reason I think everyone gets into wrestling podcasting, wrestling video casting, wrestling writing. It's to do predictions. I think this is the meat. It's the bread and butter plus the meat plus the less carbohydrated infused side dish. That's a convoluted simile right there. What was I talking about? Yeah, this is why we do it. We all love to do predictions. This is fun, and what's even more fun is that it demands not as much preparation as a review show. You just go ahead, say things that come off the top of your brain. Before we actually get into it, a couple of notes. Let's start with some notes. First and foremost of these notes, if you are someone who follows my work, follows me either on Twitter at Mr. Warren Hayes, or if you follow me on YouTube at tinyurl/Mr. Warren Hayes, then you know that I haven't been around for my weekly Raw and SmackDown programs and reviews. And that is because I was struck down with a particularly vicious and disgusting stomach flu. I had no interest in anything except stomach flu related things. And it's not as if I was actually interested in that. It was just kind of happening and there was nothing else I could do. So now I'm feeling better. I haven't spoke about wrestling in 2 days. And now I'm chomping at the bit. I did my 205 Live NXT review over on FightFLSelect.com last night. And now I'm here. I'm here with my SummerSlam predictions. And I have chips. I got me a bowl of chips. Right? Because I'm feeling a lot better and I want chips. So I'll probably be eating a few chips as we go along. And I have some soda as well here. I don't know if you guys have this in the, like I know there's some Americans out there who watch, or even in the UK. Real Lime Pepsi. They released that for the summertime here. Man, this is good stuff. This is really, really tasty. Nice little hint of lime. Endorsement. Official Warren Hayes endorsement. Pepsi Cola. Feel free to send me another case of this. 2 more cases. Because what sucks is that this is really tasty. And I'm a big soda drinker, to be perfectly transparent. I like my soda. And I specifically appreciate smaller, like local bottlers. I like, you know, everyone is into craft beer and smaller breweries popping up everywhere, but there's a nice movement as well in regards to soda, where you have these local bottlers who come together and make these fantastic products, great takes on classics, using different ingredients, you know, like actual cane sugar, for instance, or actual vanilla in their root beer. Those things, and it shows. So I'm not a big Pepsi guy, but I like to try out new flavors. And when I tried this, I was like, wow. But this is only going to be around for the summer. So Pepsi, I'm calling you out. I just gave you guys free endorsement. Tasty endorsement. So no pressure. Feel free to send me a couple of cases to hold me over during the winter. No pressure. Might I actually tell you guys how cool you are. My body is in. I need junk. I need junk food. So yeah. So I'm back. This is going to be interesting. Other programming notes. This is going to be released on Thursday. So Thursday, August 16. If you are watching this on Thursday, August 16, make sure that you're watching this before 8 p.m. Central Standard Time because I will be joining the boys, Chris and Silky, over at the Spees and Benchmark show. I will be joining them live as a guest. They made the incommensurable mistake of having me on as a guest to discuss NXT Takeover Brooklyn. It should actually be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to join both Chris and Silky. They're cool guys. They have a great podcast going, and I'm thrilled that they're having me on. It's an honor that I will have to reciprocate very, very soon as I get a whole bunch of stuff set up here. But so be sure to tune in. If you follow these guys over on Twitter, it's Spees Benchmark. Spees Benchmark. Spees is yeah, that's it. SPEEZBENCHMARK. Benchmark. Spees Benchmark. That's at Twitter. And otherwise, tinyurl.com/Spees Benchmark. That's their YouTube channel. Come see me. Come say hello. We do it live. I never do live stuff except for FightFL. FightFL.com. FightFL.com. You know what that is? That is the premium service of the website known as FightFL, which is if you know, unless you're completely not in the know, you should know this by now. FightFL is the premier news, combat sports news site that you should follow. Talk about pro wrestling, MMA, boxing. If people are punching each other, it's covered on FightFul.com. And on top of that, they have a fantastic subscription service called FightFul Select, which you can go take a look at FightFulSelect.com. I contribute quite a bit of things over there. I do a weekly 205 Live NXT recap show. I do a monthly retro review with Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor of Fightful.com, FightfulWrestling.com. I don't think Fightful Wrestling is a .com, but Fightful Wrestling is a thing. It's like the wrestling sub-brand of Fightful. Anyway, but we do a monthly retro review. We're going to be releasing our TNA Unbreakable Fightful review very soon for free, gratis, for everyone to take a look at, see what kind of quality content you get there. I've done all throughout the G1. I did weekly recaps of the G1. That was one part exhausting, one part thrilling. It was awesome. Even did a nice video wrap up that was available for everyone on Fightful.com. And that's just the stuff I do. On top of that, you get a metric ton. Maybe not a metric ton. Let's say a Lithorian ton worth of podcasts. Members only podcast. Sean does a weekly podcast, which he calls The Weekender, where he wraps up, the week in wrestling news. He wraps up the week in wrestling news and reviews non-WWE shows. Impact, Lucha Underground, ROH, even talks about being the elite. Fantastic podcast. You get dark match commentary, where he pulls out a match that happened, a dark match that happened somewhere in the world, puts his own commentary on top of that. Q&A sessions. You get exclusive interviews, exclusive news bits. You get previews before the whole world gets to see it, man. And you know what the greatest part is that it's $5 a month. $5 a month. I mean, I don't know what you're doing with your money. I don't want to tell you what to do with your money. I'm in no position to tell you what to do with your money. I'm not your dad. I'm not your mom. I'm not your second cousin. I'm not even a well-wisher. No, I'm a well-wisher. But I'm not even, I'm not, your financial operations are of no true interest to me unless you decide to give $5 a month to FightFL Select so that you can have access to all this great content. And then you can go ahead and you tell Sean Ross Sapp, you go and you tell him and you say, Sean, I am subscribing because Warren Hayes told me to. Sean will be like, maybe we'll keep that loser around for a little while. Well, just a little while longer. So that's what's going on FightFul Select. Then tomorrow, I will have another show up. I will have a NXT Takeover Brooklyn prediction show, which I'm doing with with Danny from the Undisputed Future podcast. This is going to be my first time doing an actual collaborative podcast / video thing with someone. I'm super excited. Danny's a smart dude, and he covers NXT like no one else does, and it'll be a fun time. That I can't wait to send out into the world. And there's there's even more stuff. I'm going to be doing the post NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4 podcast over on Fightful.com. Man, there's so much stuff going on. Your boy Warren is being run ragged. That's why he's been so sick, but I've got all the medicine I need to get me through it. How about we talk about SummerSlam? SummerSlam has 13 matches, if you include the pre-show, and I will include the pre-show. That's a lot of wrestling, man. I mean, I just finished up the G1. I watched every day of the G1. I watched every single thing. Someone's got to cut me a break here. The guy's got to find some time to sleep. Eat chips. It's a long show. Honestly, this is I think this is the kind of show that makes for a good argument, a proper argument that maybe the WWE might be overdoing it a bit. That maybe too much is sometimes too much of a good thing is not is enough. Too much of a good thing is bad enough. What's the word again? What's the expression? I don't remember. I'm just gonna adjust my brightness here, if you don't mind. Those of you who are actually watching me, I feel like everything is glaring really bad. That's a little better? That's better. There we go. Thank you for bearing with me on that one. I was just looking at my monitor. I was like, wow, that's stark. That's stark whiteness. Let's get to predictions so that I can eat chips more freely. I'll do some. How about we do some ASMR to begin with? Something just to relax ourselves. The sound of chips being crunched in my mouth. If this wrestling commentary thing doesn't work, that's exactly what I'm going to go off and do. I'm going to start making ASMR videos of me eating chips. And I swear I'm going to make a fortune. All right. Let's start this off. We'll go through the kickoff matches first. Raw Tag Team Champions, the B Team versus the Revival. I believe the B Team is going to win. They're probably going to win by pure luck, which is kind of their gimmick these days. And it's a shame because the Revival should be walking out of here with the titles, but I don't think it's going to happen. Not this time. Not on the pre-show. And it's doubly a shame when you consider that the B Team weren't supposed to be champions in the first place. That this was all put into place because of Bray Wyatt's car accident. And they're not ready to drop the titles off of the B team. They just changed their music to something very cheery, B team go, go B team go, whatever. I despise their new music. I've talked about that on one of my reviews. Why don't you go check them out while you're here? Anyway, so the B team are going to win over the Revival. Next, still on the kickoff, Rusev and Lana versus Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega. I'm not quite sure what their intentions are. But if the plan is still to break up Rusev Day, which is a stupid idea, because Rusev Day with Aiden English is such a great act. They're fantastic together. If this is the plan, well, Aiden is going to mess up and is going to cost Rusev and Lana the fight. And Almas and Vega will continue in their winning ways. That's something I'm okay with. I am completely fine. And you know what? I would actually like Andrade Cien Almas and Rusev to have a proper program with each other, because the match they had, their singles match they had a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown, was really good. Not to anyone, not that we were surprised. I wasn't surprised. You have two fantastic workers. You put them together. You let them do their thing. You're going to get gold. And Rusev can go. Andrade can go. Let's just let it go. And so, I don't know. You feel that I'm feeling that Rusev, that they're finally going all in on a Rusev face push. I think they're pulling the trigger on the face turn, is what I'm trying to say. Except the fact that people really like him and that he's selling merch and that he's popular. And I feel like maybe by breaking Aiden English off, then maybe that will mean that he will, maybe that'll help cement the fact that he's no longer a heel. Maybe they want to elevate him, put him into a higher tier as far as titles go. Maybe keep him in an upper mid card or lower upper card position, and maybe they feel the Rusev Day gimmick is a little too goofy. I don't know. But if that's the plan, and it feels like it's the plan, I think Almas and Vega win through a chicanery on Aiden English's part. Wouldn't it be great, though, if English came to interfere, but purposefully cost Rusev the match? And then it was revealed that Aiden English was like, look, I'm tired of being second best here. And if Zelina Vega was able to turn Andrade Cien Almas' career around, she'll do the same for me. And then he joins her. She becomes his manager. And she starts forming a stable of dudes. You know what? Because the thing is Aiden English, give him a moment to shine. He can go. I think that'd be interesting. WWE Cruiserweight Champion Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak. For those of you who are members of FightFulSelect.com, you already know what I think about this match. So this is no spoiler for you. But for the rest of y'all, cheapskates who aren't FightFulSelect.com members, no, I don't want to assume that you're not doing it just because you're cheap. Everyone's situation is different. Don't feel overly pressured on my end to subscribe and ensure that I keep getting paid work. I'm being stupid. Don't listen to me. That's not relevant. Right. I think that the WWE Cruiserweight title scene is in dire need of a little reinvigorating. I think they're doing a fantastic job on 205 Live. If you have not been watching 205 Live recently, I don't know what you're doing with your life, especially if you're one of these people who like to complain that WWE main event, they don't put focus on talent, don't put focus on the in-ring storytelling. Because you know what? 205 Live, you whiny complainers, is made entirely for you. That it's everything that you dislike about main roster, cut off, tossed into the rubbish bin or the recycling bin. No, the rubbish. You can't recycle that kind of nonsense. It goes directly into the trash. They just cut all of that off and give you top-notch athletic guys telling wonderful stories inside the ring without all the goofy characters or the contrived storytelling. It's all there. So it's made for you. That's what 205 Live is. It's fantastic. If you haven't been watching it recently, you should. Just 2 days ago, it was a very solid 205 Live. Nothing spectacular. Nothing was like, whoa, it's going to blow your mind. But a solid hour of wrestling. Go check out. So basically, that's it. So Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak, I think that it's time for a change as far as the Cruiserweight title goes. It's maybe a bit of a dark horse prediction, but I would really like Drew Gulak to win the title because I think he's been doing fantastic work. Not only in the ring, he's really, really one of the most solid workers in WWE right now, but he's such a good promo. And whenever I see the discussions on Twitter, who's a better promo, Samoa Joe or The Miz, but there's Drew Gulak too. Gulak is so good, and no one seems to pick up on that because it appears that no one watches 205 Live, which is sad and ridiculous and dumb. The only problem that I have here is that it's on the pre-show, and it means that the guys won't have the time to put on a proper cruiserweight match. That's kind of a shame. But my dark horse prediction is Drew coming out with the title here. Cedric Alexander is Mr. Bland, and I think the title would benefit from a change. So those are the kickoff matches. Let's move on to the main card. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day. I'm actually looking forward to this match. I think this will be a fun match. I really do. However, I don't see the Bludgeons losing. I really don't. I think the New Day are going to retain. And I don't have much more reasoning other than I think they have to continue pushing these guys. Like, I think they need to continue pushing. They need to continue pushing the Bludgeon Brothers as this unstoppable force. And I feel like there's a bit more substance that can be given to this feud between the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers. I'd stretch this out into Hell in the Cell. I'd have the Bludgeons retain here, but set up a rematch at Hell in a Cell. I think there's much more juice to be extracted from this fruit or something. Finn Balor versus Constable Baron Corbin. No, Finn is winning this. We've already had the 50-50 booking. They each hold a win over each other. And everyone's like, what do you do with Finn after this? You put Finn, you put the IC title on Finn after this. I might be spoiling a prediction I have later on, but I mean, this was more or less a placeholder feud for Finn, but a bit of a coming out feud for Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin has been fantastic. Aside from the extremely poor scripts that he's been given, calling Finn all these small jokes, calling Finn small man, tiny, which is dumb. You'd think that that WWE creative would be able to come up with better material than something so blatantly obvious and stupid. Other than that, Baron has really exploded in his role as Constable, and you've seen it in his ring work. He's faster, he's crisper, he's motivated. Like, he's really, really into it. I like Baron Corbin. It's crazy what a year will do when he was so aimless and lethargic, and what's going on with him last year on SmackDown. Now in this role here, he's magic. It's been so good. So it's been a coming out party for Baron Corbin. I think he gets the big win out of this feud because of that. But Finn Balor will ultimately get the final win, their rubber match here. And please, let's move on. Let's just new pastures. United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura defends against Jeff Hardy, the charismatic enigma. He paints eyes over his eyelids. It's kind of like, so he closes his eyes and they look like they're open, but they're spooky. And then when he opens them, there's another pair of eyes. Shinsuke retains. Shinsuke retains. Jeff is injured. He's been working through injuries. He's not winning this title. $10 says Randy Orton gets involved in some way or another, but Shinsuke's hanging on to his title here. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. Well, Daniel Bryan is going to win. This is the big win that's been missing from Daniel Bryan's return. This is it. This is it right here. After being involved with Big Cass, after the thing with Team Hell No, this is the thing here. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen right here. The Miz is going to lose. Bryan is going to pick up his first big win since his return. My only complaint about this match here is that I feel that they're serving it up to us much too soon. This essentially had the potential of being the main roster's Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano feud. But they're not building it properly. They've only hinted at stuff. And I talked about this on my last SmackDown review 2 weeks ago. Well, not last week, the week before. 2 weeks ago. Talk about it at length, but I do want to make a point of it here. We know what the foundations are. The foundations of this feud are clear, and they made some lovely packages. Lovely packages. To remind us why The Miz and Daniel Bryan dislike each other. It goes all the way back when Daniel Bryan was a rookie on the crappy version of NXT, and The Miz was his pro. It starts from there, and it's a beautiful story when you look at it from a very a high place. And it's a wonderful story that they've drawn out like that. That was drawn out mostly because of Daniel Bryan's injury, let's be frank. But all the little additions that they made throughout helps build. And what I appreciated as well is when Daniel Bryan came back, they didn't throw him immediately into his feud with The Miz either. They kept, just stoking the fires. But that was it. Now it feels like their feud is happening essentially based on their history and nothing new. No new memories, no new reasons for them to really go after each other. When Tommaso Ciampa came back from injury and attacked Johnny Gargano during his World Championship, his NXT Championship match against Andrade Cien Almas, that reignited the flame. I was like, oh my God. And you started creating new memories, new reasons for these guys to hate each other. And for us to care. So, yes, there's all the history of DIY beneath it. But his return, his attack, and the promos that were cut afterwards, and the viciousness of their attacks upon each other, it just helped escalate everything. Starting to get involved with his wife. Injured him for, Johnny at some point did a stretcher job. These are all things that made their feud feel relevant and happening before our eyes. And here I feel that they didn't pull that off. There was a lot of talk, but there was no action. There was nothing, there was no, it's very much a show don't tell situation. Yes, you can keep telling us about their history, but we also have to live in the present. We also have to have reasons to be emotionally invested into this. And while history is one thing, well, give us an actual reason to feel something right now. Like, I still think, if you want to let me go off again on my fantasy booking plan that I had come up with a couple of weeks ago, you have, when Kane, let me start over. At Extreme Rules, Kane gets taken out by the Bludgeon Brothers. He gets injured. Daniel Bryan goes off and does his match in a handicap situation against the Bludgeon Brothers anyway. What if, instead of Kane hobbling to the ring, The Miz comes out? As Daniel Bryan is taking a beating in the ring, he jumps on the apron and sticks his hands out and he says, "Tag me in, Bryan. Tag me in. Daniel, I'm here." Daniel Bryan, he prefers to take a beating than tag out to The Miz, right? But eventually he just can't take it anymore and he tags himself in. He tags The Miz in. Miz comes in, cleans house. He's on fire. He's 20 times the size of the Bludgeon Brothers for that moment. He's the hottest of hot tags right now. The audience is going berserk. He and Bryan start hitting double team offense. Boom, boom, boom. They win the match. They win the titles. They're in the middle of the ring. They each have a strap in their hand. And Miz just looks at Daniel Bryan with the most self-satisfied grin he ever showed in his life. And he walks away. See them back on SmackDown. Daniel Bryan is on Miz TV, and he says, "I want to invite my tag team partner, my championship partner, Daniel Bryan, come to the ring." And basically, Miz starts cutting all the promos that he's been cutting recently, saying, he comes in and he says, "Daniel, you were in the ring, you were in trouble, and I rushed out there because I needed to do one thing, and that was to show once again that you are relevant because of me. That I'm the only reason that I'm keeping you relevant, blah, blah, blah." And then they have to coexist. They want to fight each other, but Paige comes out. Paige says, "No, you guys are my tag team champions. This can't happen. You can't fight each other. Besides, we're going to have a tournament to decide who the next number one contender is." And then you do the whole rigmarole with the, did I say rigmarole? Sure, I said rigmarole. I'll say rigmarole again. You do the whole rigmarole again, where with the tournament to determine the number one contender. Sanity, Usos, the Bar, and the New Day. Just do it again. Let the New Day win again, and then you come to SummerSlam. Then you have Daniel Bryan and The Miz who have to defend against the New Day, but The Miz abandons the match midway or something like that. Daniel Bryan can't withstand the New Day's offense, and he loses. So that just adds more fuel to the Miz's fire, saying, without me, you're nothing, Daniel. Then you go to Hell in a Cell and you lock those guys up in a cage and you let them fight. That's how I would have booked it. It would have been much better than what we're getting here. You have to create these events. You can't just rely on history alone. And that's why they did those packages, those video packages on SmackDown. Because I think someone in creative at some point realized, like, look, all we have going for us right now is their history. We have to recount it. We have to tell the story of their history. That's all we got. I can only hope that this is going to prolong, that they are going to drag this out. But I don't see any other outcome right here than Daniel Bryan winning at SummerSlam. SmackDown Women's Championship. Carmella versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch in a triple threat match. My heart says Becky Lynch, but my brain says Carmella. And I book with my brain, not with my heart. But man, oh man, Becky Lynch. I'm a bit afraid of where they're going with this. I'm afraid that they might be turning Becky heel, which would be stupid. Because I also feel Charlotte would be they should turn Charlotte heel. That's what they should do. But because we know she's fantastic. But in the minds of management, Charlotte is their penultimate champion. She's the one who represents all the qualities of a champion. She also has crossover appeal. She can handle herself in public. She can talk a fantastic game. Do you want your main champion to be a heel? Your main crossover star to be a heel? Turning Becky Lynch heel would be stupid. But I think Carmella is going to retain because I think WWE still wants to drag this out. I think they're doing this because they feel this is a good heat. I don't think it's good heat anymore. I think the Carmella experiment is done. It's been it shouldn't go any further than this. But I think Becky and Charlotte are going to mess it up for themselves. And then we're going to move into Hell in a Cell, where then probably either then I think this is how I'd do it if Carmella retains. You go into Hell in a Cell. Charlotte wins there. I don't know what the match setup would be, but Charlotte gets out of Hell in a Cell with the belt. Then we move on to Evolution, and that's where Becky Lynch would win. Because for real, the money match at this point is Becky and Charlotte. And we know it'll deliver. It'll be great. And we're not getting it at SummerSlam because they're saving it for something. And I think they're saving it for Evolution. So that gives Carmella another month as champ. Intercontinental Championship. Dolph Ziggler, with Drew McIntyre in his corner, versus Seth Rollins, with the returning Dean Ambrose in his corner. Dean Ambrose, who is looking more and more, well, whose neck looks more and more like Tomohiro Ishii's neck. As in, he doesn't have one anymore. My prediction here is quite simple. I believe Dolph retains because Dean is going to turn on Seth. I think that's the thing. I'm pretty sure that the Dean turning on Seth thing has been planned for well over a year. I think this is a direction they want to go in, and it's a money feud. It's a feud fans want to see. Give the fans what they want to see. If you're gonna keep pushing Roman Reigns down our throats, at least give us something we want to see. Boo, Warren, boo. I know that was uncalled for. I'm trying to be positive. But for real. And the fact that they pulled Dean out on Monday Night Raw this week, to me, is your biggest tell, ladies and gentlemen, that the turn is inevitable on Sunday. If Dean had appeared out of nowhere on Sunday, you would have wanted him to, the crowd would have gone bananas. It would have been a feel-good moment. You don't necessarily want to... Do you want to pull the trigger on a double turn? Not a double turn, but an immediate heel turn right there? No, you kind of want the feel-good moment. And Seth has to win, right? Well, here, I think the fact that they brought Dean out on Monday is for everyone to get, all right, the heel bros are back together. Only to have him backstab him. Only to have Dean backstab Seth at SummerSlam. I think that's consequential booking. I think it makes sense. What do you do with Dean after this? Not Dean, Dolph? Toss that sucker in a feud with Finn Balor. That's what I'd do. Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens. The winner of this match, if Braun Strowman loses, he loses his Money in the Bank briefcase to Kevin Owens. And this will happen regardless of how Braun loses. Whether it's a DQ, whether it's by countout, submission, pin. Regardless of how KO pulls off the win, if he wins, Braun Strowman loses the briefcase, and that is exactly what's going to happen. I don't think they'd put this stipulation in if they weren't going to use it. Honestly, I could be wrong because I have memories of WWE creating stipulations for matches, but the stipulations not really meaning anything, not having any incidence on the match itself. But here, I think that Kevin Owens is going to do it. I think Kevin has done a fantastic job putting Braun over the past few months. They've had a fantastic program together. But I think it's time for Kevin to move away from this and return upper tier. Besides, they need opponents for Roman. They need opponents for Roman. Now that Brock is going to be out of the picture, Drew's going to be an excellent choice. Kevin's going to be an excellent choice. So I think Kevin Owens gets the briefcase off of Braun because it was a stupid idea to put it on Braun in the first place. And I think we've all... I think it's clear why. I think it's clear. It's really gross how I eat chips, huh? I think it's clear at this point that putting the briefcase on Braun was a bad idea. I said it was a bad idea at my Money in the Bank predictions. I said give it to Samoa Joe, give it to Kevin Owens. Braun doesn't need it. He never needed it. And besides, in Braun's character, the next Monday, the following night after he won the briefcase, Braun should have come out and say, all right, I'm challenging Brock Lesnar right now. Because that's the only thing that makes sense in Braun Strowman's character. Why would he have hung on to the briefcase? That's stupid. There's no reason Braun Strowman should hang on to a briefcase. He's not a tactician. He's an impulsive guy. He's not rational. He's like, I got briefcase, me challenge champion. That's it. It's dumb. It was a dumb idea. He didn't need it. Raw Women's Championship is on the line. Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey. Is this Ronda's coming out party? Does she become champion here? Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to put the strap on Ronda. It makes sense to me. And it makes, I mean, first of all, I'm looking forward to this match because everything Ronda's done recently has been fantastic. I think she's really, really good. Rumor came out that she's been rehearsing her match every day. I'm spittling chips on my desk. Never do a podcast with chips, folks. Alexa, that's it. There's been rumors coming out that she's been rehearsing her match every day with Alexa, and people have been getting mad at this. Why? She wants to put on the best perfect the perfect match. She wants to put on the best match possible. Why shouldn't she rehearse it every day? I'm fine with this. I don't know what people, God, wake up. Then it's be like, you put her in the ring. She doesn't. She's too green. She never practices. She should rehearse her matches. Now she's rehearsing her match. Yeah, of course she's rehearsing her matches. She's so green. She doesn't know what to do. God damn it. She'll never win. But I think she's going to win the championship here. It'll make sense. Yeah, I think it'll make sense. If she doesn't win, then they're going to stretch this one out until Hell in a Cell again, and then she's going to walk into Evolution as, one way or another, Ronda Rousey is going to be Raw Women's Champion going into Evolution, because that is just good mainstream attention for WWE. Then who's her next opponent after that? Like, if Sasha and Bayley are going to do the tag team thing for a while, who's Ronda's next opponent? There is a lack, and I've been saying this for many weeks. There is a lack of female heels on Raw. That is exactly why they put the title back on Alexa, because Alexa is top heel woman. She's the only heel that makes sense to face Ronda Rousey character-wise. There is not a stronger heel character on Raw than Alexa Bliss. Why? Well, because WWE Creative doesn't take the time to develop characters for their female performers. So that's why this match happened in the first place. You can complain about Alexa's work rate all you like. The simple matter is that Alexa is the strongest heel they have on Raw. So it makes sense that Ronda would defeat a heel. It's classic heel babyface, and that's how you have to book Ronda right now. There's no gray zone. She can't be a tweener. So anyway, I'm still predicting Ronda's going to win, but you can expect a shenanigans. WWE Champion AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. A couple of weeks ago, I made a short video on how I felt that, AJ's opponent at SummerSlam should be anyone but Samoa Joe, and it turned out to be Samoa Joe, and I was kind of disappointed because I felt that AJ Styles, many things. It's common knowledge that the company loves AJ Styles. It's common knowledge that everyone thinks he has a great attitude, he represents the company really well, and that he does good business. He's a merch seller. People like him. He's a good face for the company. On the SmackDown side, he's on 2K19. Would you have your champion, the face of your video game, lose his title before the release? These are all, legit questions that you ask yourself. So in my perception at that point, I was like, nope. He's not going to lose. And it sucks that Samoa Joe is going to be up there, because Samoa Joe is going to lose again, and he hasn't won a single big match since returning from injury. And since Samoa Joe's character is all about being intimidating, about being frightening, about being about legitimately looking at this guy and saying, look, this guy's going to tear me up. If he never wins a big match, this mystique is going to erode. It's going to disappear. So I'm very, very much afraid, still going in here, that Samoa Joe may not win. However, it has come to my attention recently that AJ Styles is now the longest reigning WWE champion, or at least on SmackDown, since JBL. So that's a milestone. And I'm thinking maybe that now that this milestone has been struck, maybe WWE doesn't feel as bad tossing the title over to Samoa Joe. I'm going to be honest. The only reason, I shouldn't say I'm going to be honest. I'm always honest with you guys. I should be transparent. I'm going to be transparent. The only reason why I didn't want Samoa Joe in this match is because I don't want Samoa Joe to lose. The WWE title picture, as much as I love AJ Styles, as much as I care for AJ Styles and everything he's done in the company and how well he's been pushed and how well he's been handling himself, as much as all those things are fantastic, I'm of the opinion that it's time to mix things up a little bit on the WWE title front. Giving it to Samoa Joe would be fantastic, and I'm sure a lot of people would not be expecting it. That's a proper swerve, WWE. But is it going to be Samoa Joe? I really hope it is, and that's why I'm going to pick him. Despite me not being really, really keen on him being in this match, because I'm terrified he's going to lose again. Terrified, because I think another loss is going to be detrimental to his character. I don't think he's that bulletproof. I don't think he's Braun Strowman bulletproof. But the fact that AJ had conquered a milestone, and that the title picture does need a little mixing up, I feel that a title change is in order. Universal Champion Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Roman is winning. And any other scenario is just complete and utter bullshit. And I will call it out as bullshit. Before we go on, I would just like to point out that I am extremely disappointed in WWE Creative again, or should I say Raw Creative, for having Paul Heyman reveal his hand on Monday Night Raw instead of saving the intrigue the entire week right until we went into the pay-per-view. Because Paul Heyman's crying promo from 2 Raws ago and his apparent split with Brock Lesnar was the only intriguing part of this match. It was the only thing at that moment where we were like, okay, so now there's things in play that might switch things up, and this is interesting. I even had a whole booking idea where Braun Strowman would become Paul Heyman's guy. But it's all moot now because Paul Heyman revealed his hand on Monday that he's still with Brock, and it was all a ruse. And that's dumb. They really should have saved that for SummerSlam. Add some intrigue, and it wouldn't have been overbooking because it would have made perfect sense storyline wise. Everything would have just flowed naturally. So, if anyone else than Roman Reigns beats Brock Lesnar, no, not anyone else. Let me start over. If any other result of this match happens to be Roman Reigns defeating Brock Lesnar, it's bullshit. It is bullshit. And the Brooklyn crowd can eat them alive. We as wrestling fans deserve for this universal title situation thing with Brock to be over, because we collectively deserve for this situation to move on. We all collectively deserve to start getting motivated for someone else, for something else, and to see We deserve to see new championship matches. It's not even a question that whether Roman deserves it or not, or is he being pushed down our throat, or it's not even that. Right now, Roman Reigns versus anyone for the Universal title is welcome. And if Vince McMahon thinks that the swerve here is to keep it on Brock, god damn, I'm fed up. Because that's not, at this point, it's not a swerve. It's mocking your audience. It's not respecting your audience. Because we're all sick of it. Trust me. Even the live audiences are like, we're done with this. We just want to be able to move on. We want to be able to do something else. There's fatigue that's set in here. So Roman wins. And Kevin Owens cashes in immediately on him. And that's that. Kevin Owens is your new Universal Champion. Roman is going to be beaten and maybe bloody. It's going to be a hard match. He's going to win it by the skin of his teeth. He's going to be bruised and defeated. He's going to be in the ring with his title. Kevin Owens is going to run in with the briefcase, and he's going to cash in right there. Not the next night on Raw. The next night on Raw, Kevin is going to gloat. Then Roman's going to come in, and he's going to request his automatic rematch and shit like that. Listen, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns are scheduled to fight each other on the house show circuit over the next few months. You tell me why. I mean it, you guys. Roman Reigns wins a hard-fought match. He's broken. He's broken. He's hurt. Kevin Owens, of course, takes advantage of the situation and cashes in and becomes the first two-time Universal Champion. And yeah, we're going to wrap this up because I still have all these chips to eat. And I'm really, everything's really good. And I'm almost out of soda. I'm going to go get more of that. Well, those are my SummerSlam predictions, folks. Tune in if you're watching this again early enough on August 16. Tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So as I join Spees and the Benchmark on their Spees and the Benchmark podcast, that's going to be a lot of fun. Join me and Chris. Danny. Why did I call him Chris? Join me and Danny tomorrow for our combined Takeover predictions show. And then after the Takeover on Sunday, join me over on FightFL.com. We're going to be doing the Fightful post Takeover podcast. That's going to be great too. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. And I'll see you next time.